Hi guys, it's me, Brookey from Brookey Bakes. Hopefully you already know who I am. If not, it's time that we got to know each other. Today is National Donut Day and I am so excited. I love donuts. Who doesn't? I've been through some seriously ugly phases in my life where I've eaten crazy amounts of donuts and loved every minute of it. I'm gonna be walking you through a recipe that you can make at home for cake donuts. This isn't a donut that you have to fry. You don't have to get everything in your kitchen greasy or anything like that. It's a baked cake donut. It's basically just a pumped up version of a cake recipe that you put into donut molds. And so that's what we're gonna be doing. And these are so delicious. I'm really excited, so let's get started. So first and foremost, my love is Kerrygold butter. This butter we all know is like wicked expensive, right? I avoided buying this butter for years because I was like, no way, I'm not gonna spend that much money on butter. But then I tried it and there is no going back, you guys. You can tell from the color of the butter that there's a higher fat content. That's why it's so yellow. It makes all your cooking and baking much more fragrant and flavorful. I love it. I love you, Kerrygold. They're not paying me, I'm just saying that. I really do love them. So to start, we're gonna cube some butter. And typically when you make a cake, so these are cake donuts that we're making today. Typically when you make a cake, you're starting on your mixer, right? Or you're starting with dry ingredients, wet ingredients. But today we're actually gonna start on the stove. We're gonna cube some butter and bring it over to the stove. So let's go ahead and get to that. For baking in general, you want your butter to be this temperature. You can see that this butter is warm. It is definitely room temperature. For this recipe, it's not necessary because we're gonna be warming it up on the stove. But I did let this guy sit out for a little while, so that's why he is messy. But you can use cold butter for this recipe, unlike most baking recipes. So cubing the butter is actually going to make it melt and incorporate more evenly, and more evenly than if you just stuck a whole, brick of butter into the stove. That's why you cube it first. Okay, for real, you guys, this yellow color is the indication that you are using a delicious ingredient in really good butter. I guess I can't say it enough because I've said it a million times already. So we're back over here. We are going to put in this bowl 2 eggs, which you guys, it's National Egg Day. Did you know that? My husband rolls his eyes because there's always a national day. Like, who makes these things up? But I don't really care because they are an excuse to have fun in the kitchen, right? So today's National Egg Day. We're gonna use 2 of these puppies today. Okay, so we're beating the eggs. And then the last thing we add to this egg and sour cream mixture is vanilla. Guys, this is another place that you cannot cut corners on when you're baking. I know that when you're going through Costco and you see the price tag on this real vanilla, you kind of have a little heart attack, but it's absolutely worth it. It makes such a difference in the flavoring of your baked goods. Okay, so in your mixer, you're just gonna put 2 cups of flour and 2 cups of sugar. To that, we're gonna add a teaspoon of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt. Now here, let me pause again and let me give my little shout out to Redmond Salt. They're Utah, you guys. They're here in Utah, and I just discovered their ancient kosher sea salt. It's like a pink and speckly sea salt. Kosher, so it's bigger flakes of salt, and it does show up in your baked treats, but it also gives it a rounder flavor. I've always used kosher salt in baking. You just should. Once I found Redmond, it has elevated the flavor of my treats and my hand pies and all the things that I make. Totally swear by it. I love it. You should use it. That's good enough. We're gonna go and get our butter and water that we had cooling to room temperature and add that to the mix now. Okay, and now we're gonna scoop into our donut pans. When you take your mixer down, I like to get the little bit of extra that's on the paddle. You don't wanna like leave anybody out, right? Okay, so let's talk about donut pans for a second. I just grabbed these 2 donut pans from Target on one of my many sinful Target runs. And if you spray them with another ingredient that I swear by, your donuts will pop right out when you're done baking them. This, my friends, is the answer to all like cake sticking problems, okay? So it's Baker's Joy. You've seen it next to Pam on the shelf. You've seen it next to like the generic, you know, cooking spray on the shelf, but you've ignored her for years. But go get her. You don't need to flour and butter or butter and flour or butter and cocoa your pans when you're doing this. You just spray this on. I have never had issues with cakes popping out. So that's my little plug for Baker's Joy. So we're gonna go ahead and spray each pan. I typically like to do this over the sink so I don't have to mop because it does drip down a little bit and I don't like mopping. So, but I'm doing it right here in front of the camera for you today. I will mop for you. Okay, so we're spraying again. Okay guys, and this is when I'm gonna be preheating my oven. It's summer, you don't wanna preheat your oven. Like, I mean, every recipe says preheat your oven ahead of time, but I don't like to because you're letting the oven sit on, you know, for however much longer, using energy you don't need to use, but also in the summertime, you don't want your oven on as like longer than you need it to be, am I right? So, preheat it to 350. I have a convection oven, so it will preheat faster. Okay, so for this part, to scoop the batter into the donut molds, I use, this is a Jenna Luca scoop. Chris got me a set of scoops forever ago for Christmas, and this is like the standard cupcake size scoop. I like to use 2 scoops of this for my donuts, okay? So we're going 2 scoops into each mold. I like to use a scoop and a half-ish for donuts, okay? You would use a scoop for cupcakes. We're going a scoop and a half for donuts. A little more cake involved here. Oh no. I think Chris is off one of his conference calls. Oh, you were in the whole suit. I thought you were like business on the top and party on the bottom. No?
I'm always party on the bottom.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, ladies, he's taken.
So what are you making?
What does it look like I'm making?
Donuts, huh?
Yeah, donuts. Friday's National Donut Day.
National Donut Day, huh?
I love
all
days.
the national days. National
Guess what
Donut
today
Day.
is?
What's
National Egg Day.
It's not National Egg Day.
It
It's Toyota Truck Month and egg static about it.
Oh my gosh.
Every day is a national day. I don't care. When is there gonna be National Chris Day? How about that?
We'll make you a day, honey.
And action.
Oh my gosh, guys, like kids coming in from the pool, kids trying to yell action. Everybody wants to be a movie star, but I'm the movie star. So, well, actually these donuts are gonna be the movie star once we're done with them. My oven is almost ready to go, and we're gonna stick them in, bake them for 15 minutes. Start there. See, the thing is, I don't use a timer when I'm baking. And sometimes that has bitten me in the butt, but most times I just go by smell and we do a little jiggle test. I'm talking cakes, right? Once the cake smells like it's like, I want to eat this thing, then typically it's done. And I'll just go into the oven and kind of tap the tray that it's on. And if it jiggles at all, it's not done. But if it doesn't jiggle, you bring that puppy out. So these guys, I'm gonna go for around 15 minutes, but I'm gonna go by my little smeller here.
Giving your nose?
My nose. Okay, you guys, these are starting to smell really good, so I'm gonna check out how they're doing. Give it a little love tap. Now these aren't jiggling, okay? But we do want a little bit more of a golden color on the top. If for no other reason than for like aesthetics, okay? So we'll do like 2 more minutes on these. We're gonna let these guys cool in the pan until you're able to touch the pan with your hand without getting burned. I can touch the pan. It's not that hot anymore, right? So these are so easy because of my little baker's joy to pull out. You're just gonna loosen them from the sides, and then there's your donut. It doesn't totally have a hole, but that's okay. It'll hold a little extra frosting in there, which is only delightful, right? So we're pulling all these out and we're gonna put them upside down on parchment paper. And you're gonna put it on parchment paper so that you can pour the glaze over the top of it. Once we get the frosting going, you gotta act fast, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Right now, we're just pulling our donuts out of the pans. So let's talk for a second about the fact that these aren't like your standard donuts when you go to the donut shop. This is something that you're making at home, like with your kids or whatever. It's a little bit of a different experience. It is a cake donut, and the texture of it is a little bit different than cake. So it's a donut, but they are quite delightful. Let's get started on the frosting. We're over on the stovetop again for the frosting. Like they're ice skaters. Look at that, doing little twirls and tricks. Everything's melted, but we're waiting for some bubbles. We just need a couple of bubbles and then we're gonna turn off the heat. Not these little guys. See those? Not those, not that. Not even that. Hello, I don't know what that noise is. I'm a little scared, like what's that noise? And I have my assistant, cute little Olive, with me. This is a 2-person job, so it's a perfect thing to include your kids on, because you gotta keep the glaze moving so that it doesn't set in some weird like situation, and you need to add the jimmies. Okay guys, here they are. We're all done with our donuts and we're so excited to eat them and to celebrate National Donut Day. I hope you liked the video. Please come back, please subscribe. I'll be posting more videos like this, and I'll also be sharing the recipe. So if you make it at your house, please tag me. I wanna see what you guys come up with at home. Thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.